What is up, guys? Archon, I'm here bringing you guys another YouTube video. In today's video I want to talk about Comcast and their data cap and how it's predatory, and why I don't think they should be allowed to reinstate it once their COVID-19 response ends. So as you know, if you are a Xfinity customer, you have a 1 terabyte data cap each month that you are responsible for, and the only way out of that is either A, you pay $50 extra a month to not have to deal with it, or B, you're lucky enough to live in the East, because only Western and Midwestern states have the data cap imposed on them. For whatever reason, they also decided to split Ohio into Western Ohio and Eastern Ohio. I'm not going to argue the semantics of that, but you do you, Comcast. Anyway, so why is the West and Midwest punished while the East doesn't have any data cap? Well, it's quite simple. Comcast has a monopoly in the Western and Midwestern states. Who are you going to turn to for internet? Are you really going to turn to AT&T and suffer a major quality loss in internet? I mean, I guess you could out of pure principle, but AT&T also has a data cap too, so you might as well just stick with Comcast in that regard and just put up with their data cap instead of AT&T's and less quality on your internet. But as for why they don't have it in the East is because right now they're competing with Verizon out in the East and other ISPs. And what better way to compete with somebody rather than to just shut your data cap off and allow people to stream as much as they want to, so that way people turn to your internet service rather than turning to your competitors. And why would you, like I said, impose a data cap on the Midwest and West? Well, obviously it must be to keep the congestion down on the service, right? Like if you're letting the East not have a data cap. No, that's not true at all. They actually don't even need to impose a data cap. They do it because, like I said, they have a monopoly here, and who else are you going to turn to? As you can see, we're going to look at the data usage since COVID has hit. As you can see, there is a gigantic spike in data usage, and it's pretty much stayed that way for a while now, upstream and downstream growth. As you can see, it's up there compared to what we were kind of looking at down here with March when it was first announced. Well, the quarantine order comes in and all that, and everything has just spiked. So they've seen a 210 to 285% increase in traffic from video conferencing. VPN traffic is up 30 to 40%, or 40%, sorry. Game downloads are up anywhere from 20 to 80% depending on new releases. Streaming and web video consumption is up 20 to 40%. And this is the big ones here. We don't need to worry about television and their little network that they run, or their little outlet, or whatever their TV box is called. I can't remember what theirs is. Theirs isn't Uverse. I think that's AT&T. But anyway, these are the important ones. And this up here. So if they're able to, in a world with COVID, keep everybody up and running and have no data cap restrictions right now and it's running fine, why is it in a world without COVID we suddenly need data cap restrictions on everybody? Doesn't that seem a little odd to you? If it's not to keep the congestion off the network because the network can't handle it, why do you need a data cap? Well, I can tell you why you need a data cap. To nickel and dime all of those people in the Midwest who have no other choice but to use your internet service. So let's go ahead and take a look here and use a calculator and figure out how much a month a single individual will probably use right now. So we're going to use AT&T's data calculator because I assume all calculators are created equal and AT&T's was the easiest to find. Because Comcast, for whatever reason, requires a bunch of like little mini logins and whatnot, and I didn't feel like dealing with that. So 2.5 is what we're going to be using per hour per high definition video. And again, it doesn't specify whether this is 720p high def or 1080p. I'm assuming it's the latter and it's 1080p. So let's say an individual is watching 8 hours, so 2.5. Okay, so that's 20 gigs a day times 31. So you're using either 600 to 620 gigs just in high definition video a month. That's over half of your data cap just in high definition video at 8 hours a day. Not including if you sleep with the TV on and have it running in the background. That would probably be anywhere more from 14 to 15. Some people do that. This isn't including gaming either. Let's say you play games. Call of Duty is 70 gigs. and the other games are probably going to be close to 100. So let's just do plus 70 and then plus 100. So 790 is what you're at with 8 hours of high definition streaming a day and 170 in-game downloads. Because, like I said, it depends on new releases and how big the files are, because everything's bigger nowadays. So that's one person. Let's say that you are somebody with a 4K TV. Go ahead and get this. It's so hard to calculate. So anyway, it's 5.85 per hour for 4K. So let's say you can only watch 3 hours because that's about as much content a day as you can find. Because not everybody's uploading in 4K right now. It's still a transitional thing. So it's 17 gigs a day at 3 hours times 31, 544. So you have used over half of your data if you're streaming at least 3 hours of 4K a day. So let's go ahead and calculate the other 5 hours that were in 1080p. 5 times 2.5 times 31, so plus 544. You have used almost your entire data plan with just 3 hours a day of 4K streaming and another 5 of just HD streaming. As a single individual. That's not including if you play games as well. If you add the Call of Duty patch in there, you're well over your terabyte. So have fun dealing with Comcast as they charge you $10 a month, or $10 extra for every 10 gigabytes you're going to go over. You're probably going to get an extra $50 added to your bill. That sounds fun, huh? That's with 4K. So realistically, if you're streaming high definition video at 8 hours a day, and even if you play some games on top of it, you should never hit your data cap. And I think a lot of people in where the data cap is are probably single, whether they're male or female individuals, who are probably not, using a lot of data because of that. Let's showcase where this gets predatory at. So let's say you found somebody and you hook up and you guys move in together. Let's say this couple watches 3 hours of their 8 together, realistically. This is outside of them watching the phone and whatnot. So we'll count the phone and whatnot as, alone hours. We'll add that to their 5. So 3 times 2.5 times 31, 232. So combined, if they're watching things together, they've used 232 a month with their 3 hours. So what's the other 5 look like? Well, the other 5, if they're watching things by themselves, 2 times 2.5, times this by 2 because it's 2 people, times that by 31, add 232 from the other, and within 8 hours you have surpassed your data cap. Congratulations, you now owe Comcast a little extra money. Actually, you might not owe them $10 yet. Actually, I think it's anything over you owe them $10. So, yeah. Congratulations, your internet bill is now an extra $10 a month. And that's not including if you play video games, and that's not even streaming 4K. That's only streaming HD. So, yeah, hopefully you have fun with Comcast at the end of the month. So don't even get me started if both of these people game, because realistically, if they're playing something like, let's say, Call of Duty together, you add an extra 140, because Call of Duty patch times 2, which is usually 70 gigs, and you have 147. So now you're definitely paying $50 extra a month to pay for every 10 that you went over. So yeah, isn't that awesome? That's with 2 people. This is where it starts getting predatory, because it scales quadratically. The more people there are involved, and the more people that are watching on the internet, the more it multiplies out, making it easier and easier for you to hit that terabyte cap and Comcast to get extra money out of you. Let's look at a family of 3. Let's say you had a kid. He's about 13 years old, and we'll do what we did before. We'll say that you're still watching about 3 hours together, realistically, a month. 3 hours a day together. That's not unreasonable. Times 2.5 times 31, which we already know is 232. So let's say for 5 hours here, we do 5 times 2.5. Everybody's off doing their own thing for 5 hours, watching whatever they want a day, times 3 now, because you have a third person, times 31. Well, before we even add the 232, you're well over your data cap, by the way. So that's just 5 hours of free people watching high definition content, which is easily done nowadays. Easily surpassed nowadays. Especially with the quarantine order still in effect, or was it still in effect? I think it's up now. It's a state-by-state basis. So anyway, let's add the other 232 that we're missing, by the way. Whoops, well, let me do the math one more time real quick. 531 times, whoops, not times, silly me, plus 232. Yeah, that's your total, by the way. That's the total with the 3 hours shared. So that's your 8 hours. That's what you're getting data-wise. And this is without anybody in the house gaming, and let's be realistic, your son or daughter probably has a console that they play games on. Nowadays, that's pretty much the new norm. And they're probably downloading patches left and right. This is ridiculous. This is predatory. This is 100% predatory. It is an unrealistic expectation in modern times to impose a 1 terabyte data cap on people. Absolutely predatory. And what makes it even worse is that they only impose it in regions that they have a monopoly in. That they have no competition in, that they can get away with imposing the data cap on people. That is disgusting. That is sickening. That has to be against some type of business practice code. That they're able to impose data caps on areas where they know that their competition can't fight back. That's almost like price gouging, realistically. That is price gouging. It's disgusting. It's crazy, isn't it? So a family of 3 is almost guaranteed to always go over the data cap if they stream at least 5 hours. At least 5 hours. They're guaranteed. If they're not all watching it together, they're guaranteed to go over. I'll let that sink in. This is why Comcast should not be allowed to reinstate their predatory data cap once the COVID-19 response ends. They've already proven that their network can handle it with an influx from the COVID-19 and everybody being at home. Once that returns to normal, are you telling me that they still won't be able to keep the network running with all that stress removed from their servers and their network? If they could do it at this capacity, they should easily be able to do it when that stress is gone. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think of Comcast. Let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. Do you think Comcast should be allowed to reinstate their data cap? Or do you think that it should be abolished and they should not be allowed to reinstate data caps on their customers, especially ones that can't fight back in the form of competition? Let me know down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys later. See you on the next video. Later.